everyone. Welcome to our Wayne County Board of Commissioners agenda meeting for May 19th, 2020. Got a little echo here. I just wanted to go over a couple of things. We're still under the phase one lifted restrictions. The governor still mandates no more than 10 persons gathered in one place. And as such, the public may watch the meeting in the jury room on the third floor or at www.waynegov.com. And those wishing to speak during the public comment segment will be asked to wait in the jury room until escorted to the meeting by a deputy. Just wanted to say that these policies will be in place until otherwise the governor opens things up. But as of this time, these are the restrictions we're under. Also wanted to just remind the commissioners real quick that we are in the summer months, and you do have the option, if you don't want to wear a tie, you're certainly welcome not to. So if you do decide to wear a tie, like Commissioner Aycock says, he's sitting in a person's seat that always wore a tie, no matter what. So Mr. Aycock will certainly be an exception. Okay, we have the invocation by Commissioner Aycock, the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Pate, the approval of the minutes from May 5th, and the discussion and adjustment of the agenda. Mr. Honeycutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do have two changes that we would like to talk about at this time. Number one is under special presentation. Number two, Don Willis will not be here to discuss a fare increase from GWTA at this time. And the second thing we would like to add under consent is a request from wages for approval of a grant application for the COVID-19 CARES Act grant. And this is something that they have been approved for. It is a strictly grant, 100%. There is no match, $395,110. However, they just need to formally have that application approved by the Board of Commissioners. So we would like to put that under consent as number 4.
Okay.
And the chairman would like to possibly change this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, we have a 1 p.m. budget work session that is scheduled. We do have Davenport coming today as well. They're supposed to be here at 1.
I think he's going to get here a little early. But
Early?
He's planning to present around 1 o'clock.
Yeah, but we were going to work on budget today, but also have the presentation from Davenport. Our agenda may not be as long as we think it is, so we may be able to get to budget and have some early discussion. So we will just kind of go with the flow and continue on. So it may not be that 1 p.m. time.
Right. Okay.
But we do have lunch scheduled today.
And you'll need, under the budget work session, right before adjournment, you'll need to call a public hearing on the budget.
Before the work session?
No, after the work session.
After the work session.
Before adjournment of the work session.
Okay.
And we're calling for that public hearing to be on
It would be June the 1st, 2 weeks.
June 1st.
June 2nd.
Second.
June 2nd.
Right.
At 9:30?
Yes, sir.
And under the current law, you can't adopt the budget after the hearing. You're going to have to wait 24 hours, so you actually can adopt it on your second meeting in June, if you are
Right.
inclined to adopt it.
If you're inclined to.
Okay.
There's no further changes. We'll go under special presentations. Number one is we'll have Alan Fitzpatrick from Open Broadband here. As the board is aware, we have applied for some grant funding, and Alan is to give us an update of that project, and hopefully we can have some good news as well. The second one, which is now number three, will be number two. We have a motion to approve the 2020 EMS Week proclamation, and I believe our EMS Director, Dave Cutterback, will be here to read that. And then number three will be motion to approve the agreement between the Wayne County Board of Education and the County of Wayne for emergency shelters. And our Aaron Stryker, our Emergency Management Director, will be here to make that presentation and really kind of give us an update of where we're at as we head into hurricane season. So very appreciative of Aaron and also of Andrew and Borden for getting us to this point. We've not had an agreement with the schools before, and it's always been unwritten. Now we have a written agreement, and appreciate the work that they've done. So kind of lay out everything and clear on both sides' expectations.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to regress just a little bit. Have we got any updates in regards to that grant on open broadband?
Not at this time. Hopefully Alan has something, but I haven't heard anything new as far as awarding or not.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And after that, we will have public comments. Again, a maximum 30-minute time period with individuals speaking, a limit to 4 minutes each. And then appointment committee.
Yeah, do we have appointments?
Yes, we have several appointments and reappointments this morning. We have 4.
Okay, is this will be from last meeting? We're voting on the ones from last meeting?
No, sir,
These are new ones.
His recommendation to the board, and then you'll vote.
We'll vote next
June
meeting.
2nd.
Next meeting? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay. And then we have consent agenda. Number one is budget amendments, and I'll turn it to Allison.
The first budget amendment is for the Fleet Management Fund. We are requesting to anticipate an additional $8,000 in the vehicle parts revenue line item and appropriate expenditures accordingly. For the Health Department, they are asking to appropriate an additional $9,210 in the WIC program. These are additional funding that they receive from the state. Your next budget amendment is for the fire districts, and you will see there's an Excel attachment behind it. This represents the various line items in the fire districts fund. And some of these have we've overcollected for their sales tax, their property taxes, and then some of them we've had to appropriate additional funds for credit card transaction fees through the tax and tag program. We pay out everything we receive from them. So if we overcollect or need to anticipate additional expenditures, we have to do a budget amendment to adjust that. And that's what this is. You may have one more before the end of the year.
What did you say about the credit cards?
So for the tax and tag program that's administered through the DMV, they charge us credit card transaction fees, and they also charge administrative overhead fees. And so those are passed on to the fire departments for their respective share.
Okay.
For social services, we're requesting to reallocate $5,335 from their professional services line to program reimbursements. That line item has exceeded the activity that they anticipated for the year. For the sheriff's office, we are asking to reallocate $28,137 from non-capital to capital. This is to purchase a vehicle out of the seized property line item. And these are drug forfeiture funds. For EMS, He is requesting to reallocate several line items to adjust their budget to year-end projected amounts. And he's attached, I won't go into each individual one, but he has attached an explanation for each line item. And I believe there's a couple there related to maintenance and repairs, that they've had some unexpected issues on their ambulances that were quite expensive. For the library, they are requesting to appropriate $2,500. This is a mini grant they received from the State Library of North Carolina for COVID-19 expenses. And there's several pages behind that because the attachment was for the grant agreement behind it. So the next one is on page 38 of your agenda. For the sheriff's office, they are requesting to anticipate and appropriate $1,329.04 in insurance funds. If you recall, they were asking to reallocate some funds to purchase an additional vehicle, not an additional vehicle, a replacement vehicle that was totaled. This is some of the insurance monies that went towards that accident. There will be more that's coming in from it. This is just to remove the equipment from the old car. For the health department, they are asking to reallocate $8,515. This is a various line items that they're not going to use, like training and things like that, and they just want to reallocate it to medical supplies where they can actually use those funds down. For the health department, they're asking to reallocate $12,000 from one of their line items, which is 5110, I think that's administrative, to the 5152 line item for professional services. They do track their time so that they can receive various reimbursements from grants and state funding. And a lot of the interim health director's time was spent on COVID-19, so they are just reallocating that line item to be able to receive reimbursement for that. For social services, and I believe this is your final budget amendment, they received additional funds for the low-income energy assistance program in the amount of $20,658.31. And that's going to be passed through from the state to the clients, so that's not county dollars. That's all I have for you.
And if no questions from Allison, next under consent agenda is motion to approve the final plat for Avington as recommended by the Wayne County Planning Board, and I'll turn that over to Barry.
Okay, now before that, you've got the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Motion to approve the Wayne County Child Fatality Prevention Team Annual Report, and you can see that's on page 46 through 49. This is the annual report looking at child fatalities within Wayne County. And then number 3 is motion to approve the final plat for Avington as recommended by the Wayne County Planning Board. Sorry. Thank you, Barry.
All right, good morning. Abington Subdivision is a final plat with 10 lots on 7.28 acres. This is located on Dalpate Road, right near the intersection with Mount Carmel Church Road, if you're familiar with that area. The average lot size is 28,997 square feet, and all the improvements are installed. Since this is a final plat, basically this is the last of the process, last time you will see it. The roads are in. We do have a built to standards letter from DOT, and the planning board has reviewed this and recommends approval. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
It's pretty close. Yeah, that's the problem. And Wayne's.
Yeah. I'm just talking amongst ourselves.
I'm sorry. He's asking, I was just minding Wayne's.
Yeah, it was so close, I had to look twice to make sure it's not my district.
Yeah, it is near the line, that's right.
District line's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Any questions from?
No question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Barry.
you.
Yeah.
And then after that is number 4 is the approval of the submittal of the grant for the NC Cares funding for $395,110. And again, this is we just have to approve of the application, and the application to the Office of Economic Opportunity is in front of you. No questions on that. Then we'll go to new business. Number 1 is discussion of budget work session. We'll be talking about our budget and next steps and trying to finalize recommendations as we move forward. And then number 2, motion to adopt Resolution 2020-19, resolution adopting the Neuse River Basin Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. And again, a copy of the plan is online, so I'll turn that over to Barry again. Excuse me.
This is our update to our hazard mitigation plan. The actual name of this is the Neuse River Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan because it is a group of counties, Wayne County, Greene County, Jones, Pitt, and Lenoir counties all combined to create a regional plan. Basically, we're required to update this every 5 years. If we do not have an updated plan, we will not qualify for federal funding for disasters. So we do have to do this on a regular basis. We did start this process about 14 months ago with a planning committee with representatives from towns and counties within this region. And we have held 2 public input sessions as well. This is, again, something that we're required to have. We are asking that you approve this resolution to adopt this hazard mitigation plan. There are 500 and something pages in that plan, so we did provide a copy online or the website, but there are 3 pages that we did provide to you that are pertinent to Wayne County for the hazard mitigation strategies. That's probably the most important part. Those have been tweaked since the last plan, but we did provide a copy of those for you to take a look at as well. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? I had one.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in this plan that addresses the dredging of Neuse or Little River? I know that falls under Army Corps.
Right. It does not, this plan doesn't go into that amount of detail. It really just looks at it from a higher level and gives suggestions in terms of action items, more general action items. But that type of thing would fall under possibly some of those mitigation strategies, you know, if you were to look at those in more detail. But that is not specifically referenced in this plan. There is a DOT plan that's in place that does reference the dredging along with some other things, reservoirs. You might have heard of those, you know, possibly. But this plan doesn't look into that much detail.
I understand that the water flow, and I've seen it myself in Neuse River, it's closed up over the years.
Right.
I keep wondering, you know, we're cleaning out all these streams that empty into it, but if the water still has nowhere to go, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, I'm just a common sense guy. It doesn't really make sense.
That's a good point.
Any questions? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry.
Thanks, Barry. Then that is all for new business. Then we'll have county manager's comments, board of commissioners committee reports and comments, closed session. And again, during this time, Davenport will be here as well to kind of go over some of our financials, and we'll have budget discussions as well. So
Okay.
kind of a rolling workshop after that.
Any questions?
And as Carol or the board mentioned earlier, we will, before we do reconvene, we will need to set the public hearing for the budget for June 2nd.
After,
Sir? Before we adjourn, right.
yeah, before we
I said
adjourn,
reconvene.
after the
I'm
work
sorry.
session.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Any questions? Anything else anyone has? Okay. We have a closed session?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parker?
To discuss the location of businesses in Wayne County, to consider the competence, performance of employees, and to consult with an attorney, your attorneys, to maintain the attorney-client privilege.
Have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor of closed session, say aye. Aye. Or raise your right hand like we normally do. Okay,
All right,
closed session we are.
all right.